Well, welcome everybody to our Friday Live. Happy Aloha Friday. And in celebration of this like Military Appreciation Month, right, in May, we have Sergeant Raena Madeira on. So she was a guest on our radio show a couple weeks back, and we had so much fun with her on the radio. We wanted to make sure that we got her, you know, in person here on all of our social media. So Raina's really, she's a very special person. She's really been able to utilize a lot of the tools through the Hawaii National Guard to get highly educated. Just getting her bachelor's degree in business management, and just recently her master's degree in business administration, and also with a certificate in human resources. So, without further ado, please welcome to the show Recruiter and Retention NCO for Hawaii Army National Guard, Staff Sergeant Raena Madeira.
Hi everyone, happy Aloha Friday.
Aloha.
Happy to be here.
Yes. So let's start from the beginning. Like what prompted you to go into the Hawaii National Guard?
So I was a 17-year-old senior at James Campbell High School, and I really wanted to find a way to pay for college. I wasn't aware of what the Hawaii Army National Guard was, but fortunately for me, my uncle was a recruiter. And so he had told me about the education benefits. So I initially joined because of that. And needless to say, after I joined, fast forward, it's 23 years now, yeah.
Wow.
I've gotten more than just education benefits, like a lot more than what I expected. And I didn't know that if you were to ask me at 17 years old, would I see myself doing 20 plus years? I would have never guessed. I would have never, but.
So you joined for the education, because that in itself, it's quite an amazing benefit, but there's so much other things that the Hawaii Army National Guard has to offer. So let's start with let's just start with the education, and then we'll move over from there. So tell us how does this work?
Okay, so one of the best things about the Army National Guard is that we have a dual mission, which pretty much means that we serve the state first under the governor, but then we also serve the president of the United States. So, because we have two missions, we actually have twice the benefits. So for tuition-wise, as far as college, we do have the GI Bill, just like regular active duty services, but we also have state tuition assistance. So that entails basically we can pay up to 100% of your community college. So if you went to places like LCC, KCC, HCC, we pay 100% for those. If you wanted to go to the University of Hawaii, for example, Manoa, UH West, UH Hilo, we pay up to 50% for those. But again, because we have that dual mission status, on the federal side, we still get up to $4,000 a year if you wanted to go to private schools, such as Chaminade, HPU, University of Phoenix. So again, the best thing about the Guard is the education benefits, hands down. I myself was able to do both my degrees, and I didn't have no student loan debt at all.
And then what kind of commitment does this require as far as being part of the Guard?
So for the state benefits, as long as you do a contract with us, you get state benefits. Now, if you wanted to do with the GI Bill and the kickers, all the extra money, that comes with like a 6x2. We call it a 6x2 contract, and it's basically 6 years. No matter what service you go to, you're gonna have to do an 8-year contract. But because we get to have both benefits, the state and federal, the best contract you can do is a 6x2 contract.
Okay, and then how much of a time commitment? Like, what does that look like as far as how much time you're spending actually doing this Hawaii National Guard job?
That's probably the next best thing. Is it's a part-time job. It's 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer at a minimum. Now there's opportunities for more training if you wanted to do that, which comes with additional pay. But at a minimum, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer, you're talking about 39 days a year.
And then, like, not only do you get all this education paid for, they actually pay you, right, for working.
Yes, you get a paycheck. You actually can get a retirement paycheck. Yeah,
Wow.
as a part-time job. I don't know any other part-time job that allows you to do a retirement paycheck and do a 401k. Yeah, we have a 401k. It's called the TSP, but it's like a 401k plan.
So there's a lot of amazing things that, are to be said about serving our state and our country. So it sounds like it's quite a win-win situation. Now, your particular role, you're a recruiter right now, and that's a full-time role. How does that work with the full-time employment with the Guard?
Okay, so one of the things that people don't know about us, and this is why I call it like Hawaii's best kept secret, right? Is although we do the 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer, everyone comes in part time, but there are opportunities for full time positions. So, for example, we have what we call federal technician jobs, which allows you to work for the National Guard Monday through Friday, and then still do your 1 week in a month, which gives you two paychecks pretty much. We also have what is called the Active Guard Reserve, which is the AGR, which is kind of what I do. Um, that is pretty much your active duty, but you serve the National Guard. So you're here, you serve the state. So you're here on active duty status. And to get those jobs, it's like anywhere else. You have to apply, you have to do the interview, you get selected, and then you go on those tours.
So you could come in as that part-time person and do a really excellent job and excel in your role, and then apply to do that full-time.
Absolutely.
That's how
You
that
want
works.
to, yeah. So you come in 1 week in a month, you do that, you gain your experience, you get your training, you get all of that prior to you applying for jobs full time.
Now, these jobs that we're talking about, tell us about, like, what kind of opportunities does the Guard have that actually would transition well into the civilian world?
So one of the biggest things right now is IT. IT is one of the biggest ones right now because everything that we're doing has to do with technology. I mean, look at us. We're here today doing this video conference, right?
Mhm.
So IT is one of the major ones because you can use that anywhere. I mean, you can get your training here and get jobs with places like Walmart, places like Amazon, places like what do you call, what's the new one, Spectrum, because everybody is on the net, everybody is, online. So maintainers are one of the biggest things right now for us, and also not just with IT, but when we're talking about vehicles, mechanics, I mean, logistics drives everything. That's what we like to say in the army, because everything has to move. And if you have broken trucks, you can't move equipment. If you have broken trucks, you can't move food, you can't move supplies. So our maintainers, that particular what we call MOS, military occupational specialty, is in high demand right now. So we've got like even helicopter mechanics. We're trying to hire those guys.
So, like, with all this training, so you go in and then you go to your school through the Army National Guard, and that school can take anywhere from like a month to maybe a year, right? Depending on what you're training for.
Yeah, so most of the time that you'll be away will range anywhere between 4 to 6 months, depending on your occupation, which position you get in, and the length of training for that particular job.
And this, so after you do that training, does the Army offer any kind of certificates that also transition to the civilian world?
Yes, yes. One of the best things that we have, it's called the Joint Service Transcript. It's a website where it's pretty much like you could go to your high school and get a transcript and see everything that you've done from freshman to senior year. Same thing with a college. So what we're able to do is go online and you can pull a transcript that tells you exactly what your training that you just did, how to apply it into the civilian sector. So it does two things for you. It allows you to build your civilian resume, And then it also gives you credits that you can use towards your college degree.
Wow. So you're getting paid to learn a trade, and then
Yeah.
you're getting these certificates so that you can get some better opportunities in the civilian world. I mean,
Yes.
this sounds like almost too good to be true. So, what are the restrictions? Like, how come everyone's not signing up?
Um, I think most of it is because people don't really know too much about us, and they kind of confuse us with other services,
Hmm.
especially with like active duty. Or, one time I had somebody call me, he was interested in joining the guard, and then when I called him back, he thought I was calling from the Coast Guard. So he asked
Oh,
me if he had to take a swim test. And yeah, so it's mostly because people don't really know who we are and what we do. And that's one of my main priorities as a recruiter, is to go out and share that information, especially like with the high schools, because what we try to do is get these kids right out of high school, get them into going to college and not going into student loan debt. That's
so
like the biggest one right now.
what is like the biggest misconception or myth that you hear over and over again from, different people over the years?
I think more recently the biggest myth is that if you join the guard, you're gonna get deployed like
Mm.
right away. Right away. And that is not necessarily true, because that is not our primary mission. Our primary mission is to serve the state, protect the state of Hawaii, stay within our community. And then our secondary mission is, if the president needs us, then we would go on those types of missions. That's the biggest misconception, is that we're like active duty, when really we're not. We serve the state first.
The state first, and then you're only called for national emergencies, but that would be what, after active duty, after reserves, and then comes the guard, right? In that order.
Yeah, well, so when it comes to the stateside stuff, within the state, we go first.
Okay,
So
for the state
when
of
we're
Hawaii,
talking about,
first in.
yeah, so for example, the lava flow on the Big Island, that was us. The flooding in Kauai, that was us. COVID-19 mission, that that was us up in the H3 tunnels and at the airport doing temperature checks, COVID screening. Um, but as far as deployment wise, when people start talking about federal deployments, that's where we kind of take the back seat and wait for the active duty guys to go first. And if they need us, then they'll send us.
So once you have these these missions or things that need to be done within the state, you're on a part-time job, right? But obviously, you need to come and do things like besides that one weekend a month. How does that work if it conflicts with your full-time job?
So we are covered under what is called the USERA. Um, I don't want to mess up the acronym for that, but it basically is, it protects us when we go on orders to take care of our missions, and it allows us to do our jobs and still come back to our full-time jobs without being fired or let go. And it's because we're being protected for protecting the state.
So there's protection. You shouldn't be like any kind of dings against you. So I know you had shared on our radio show about, your particular situation where, you left your full-time job to come and do this full-time recruiting.
Yes.
So could you like share that example? Because I thought that was pretty neat.
Yes, so we are covered under the USERA, and it's good for 5 years. And so what happened was in 2018, yeah, 2018, I had applied to do an AGR tour as a recruiter, and I had a federal technician job, which I asked to go on my USERA and use it for 5 years to come and do this for recruiting. So basically, what it is I have 5 years of protection. If I decide to go back to my previous employer, I have rights to that job. I have
Wow.
rights back to that employment. Yes.
So you like put a hold on it. You're like, reserve this spot for me. I'll be back in 5 years or less.
Yes. 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 And you know what? It's really good, because even if I were to go back, like let's say not be a recruiter anymore, the experiences that I've gained from here, I can take back to my previous employer, because again, that is another type of federal or full-time job with the National Guard that I had left to come into active duty status.
So you were just navigating your way all the way through this Hawaii Army National Guard. So
Yes, I came in just for college, and I had the right people with me to help me navigate and make this a career for myself. And I'm really glad that I spoke to my uncle about it, because I had no idea what the National Guard was. Besides whatever he told me at the time, all I knew is they were gonna pay for my school. I didn't know about all this other stuff.
So if you had anything that you could just like share, maybe there's someone who's on the fence or that's just curious, like what would you advise them as far as with the military or the Hawaii Army National Guard? What would be your number one piece of advice?
I would say that if you have any inclination of wanting to try it out, just reach out to a recruiter and get the facts yourself. I mean, you can Google all day, you can search online, but if you call us, the best thing you can do is sit down with a recruiter and really look at your options, because the guard can be good for so many different things, not just education. I mean, again, for myself, it was all education at first, but since I've been in the guard, I've gone through purchasing homes, with the whole degrees thing, like getting my college degrees. I did that. I'm able to do things like shop at the commissary. I'm able to get military discounts on MWR stuff.
That's
rent
great.
There's like so many benefits and privileges, even like life insurance, all that stuff. When you're 17, you don't really think about those things. Yeah. So I would say, if you're on the fence, or if you have no idea like what you're going to do at all, talk to a recruiter and just go over all your options. Just keep an open mind, and go over all your options before you make any decisions.
And then where is your office located? Where could someone just come in and have an appointment, like a sit down with you?
So my office is, if people are familiar with the Youth Challenge Academy, we're in that area. We're in Kalailoa, near the bowling alley. Uh, if you're kind of familiar with the old Tamuras, we're near the flight line.
So you mentioned the Youth Challenge. I know that, like, so my oldest son graduated from Youth Challenge, and that seems like it's run, or partially the Guard has something to do.
Yes, it's a National Guard program. Yes.
And it's an excellent program. I think that, it's throughout the United States, but thank you for like, I mean, it's another example of you guys giving back and serving the community. And
yes, we try really hard to, our kids, if when you think about it, in the long run, they really are our future leaders. So I want to make sure, like, as a recruiter, I'm bringing in all these troops, all these new kids, to kind of replace people like us, because soon we're going to retire, and I'd like to feel comfortable when I'm retired and at home, knowing that we're in good hands.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being our guest on the radio, and then on our Friday Live, just giving us a little extra information about your journey and what the Hawaii Army National Guard has to offer. I mean, as everyone can see, she doesn't bite. She's a very, very friendly, happy, joyful person. And I would just encourage, reach out and talk to Raena. She's done a lot of different roles within the Guard and very knowledgeable. So thank you for your service, and thank you for being on. Appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, so give her a call, or go pop by and see her. You guys, you're out there what, Monday through Friday, pretty much like 9 to 4.
I'm pretty much with my cell phone all day. It's always with me. So if you want to give me a call, just call me, text me.
All right. So reach out to Raena. All right. Well, thank you so much, and happy Aloha Friday. We're gonna take you out with our outro.
Okay, thank you guys.